behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up.
Alright. Are we hearing me now? I can't believe it. I did that whole intro, I did the whole thing, and literally somebody forgot to turn my mic back on in this first race. Are you serious? Oh boy. I did the whole mic, I did everything, I did a whole speech and spiel, and now I realize that none of it even counted. Well, let's get to the race. I already showed you the grading order, so here we go. Get him on to the start and line him down. Bernardo will set us off. Green flag is out. Driver's already jumping the gun, trying to get ahead while the others just lay in wait. They'll learn pretty quick. Turn number 1 down there. Could be a little bit of a throw shoehorn down there. Michael McLeod says didn't have a microphone on. No, don't worry, Michael. Currently, I had a little technical difficulties as I just came back on. Jordan Strudwick, troubles down there immediately out of the first gate there. The 100 car having a little bit of a problem down there in turn 1 and 2. Looks like he'll have to try to make his way back from the back. Working him down from the sectors of the turn, though. Right now, it is Bernardo Ferreira, your race leader. Igor close second in right now. Philip Hammer holding it into the third spot. And Igor immediately looking to throw some haymakers at Bernardo. Igor going to the right side. Bernardo blocks it on the left. Philip Hammer straight to the inside. Cuts the corner. Trying to cut him down. Cut off a few spots. Running them back in. Here we go. Oh, a little trouble down there for Salvatore Garretto as well. Garretto going way wide down in the sharp left-hander. Oh, there's another one going for a ride down there. That looks like that was Neil Killen. And the 93 shoots it back from the back and now sends him straight to the Shadow Realm. And believe me, it's not a place you want to visit here in Road America. Michael says that's Bernardo with a B. Yep. Oh, Bernardo. Bernardo, not Bernardo. Bernardo. Okay, my bad. I thought it was, for some reason that was Bernardo. That was my bad. That was Bernardo. But speaking of quick, cut up a few bases. Looks like some of them are going for a little in-care grassy plains. I got to tell you, folks, we've already lawned the lawn there. The lawn was already cut there before you came in. But apparently they want to open their own lawn care service. Have a little bit of fun with that while they're at it. Bernardo Ferreira right now still leading now with Igor Coast trying to get up there with Philip Hammer now looking on. Here on board with the number 60 of Philip. Such a wide uphill battle too. Having to work their way from there to the edge of the stroke. Felipe Strapelli, Spencer Mars, Daniel Thomas, Mishka Berger right now. They are all in their little hunt in their game plans right now, just trying to find some lines around the track. Strapelli now swings the right-hander, turn number 1. Bouncing right off the little turtle's ends now, rolling it through the strips, looking for more speed. It's a lot of traction, a lot of gain and promise, but you got to make sure you're watching every angle, watching every corner. You can't let off too quick or let off too badly, knowing that there's so much more at stake. Going on board here with Django Vale right now as you see him working his speed up on the 496 with Kenny Eckert. Rolling it right back down in. Django looking to the left, but Eckert blocks it there. Django representing for the Dutch League race. I presume he's probably a little bit of has a little bit of clutch in him if he's a little Dutch out there, if you know what I mean. Didn't quite show it there, but I think there could be time for him to figure it out later. Michael says Django has just said Django, so not D, it's just Django. Okay. And it looks like I might have gave him the old broadcaster curse. Poor Django down there. Lost it down off the swiping left-hander. Back down to the carousel turn. Running it through. He's lost a lot of time now. Poor Django. He didn't even see what was coming until I gave him the old curse. And then he just couldn't figure out how to run it from there. Bernardo Ferreira right now trying to hang in there a little bit. Rolling it off from the gaps in the distance. By the way, Michael's since I'm kind of on the less European side, I don't know how to pronounce some of these names, so Michael's down there kind of helping me out a little bit to translate some of these guys, so it's nothing against our European friends and family, it's just I absolutely stink at trying to say how the heck to say someone's name down there, so. But at least I'm not as bad as what was it that old Johnny Logano said about Shane Van Gisbergen? At least I can say his name. McLeod says the draft to the leader sitting on the shoulders of Adam Schmidt. They may be sitting on him right now, but the problem is that he doesn't seem to mind keeping them back there for a little bit. With that the Big 12, the Silver Dragon, as I've come to nickname it, looking on as he sees Fernando, Igor, and Philip right now leading him down to the ranks. Remember, this is only our first of 2 races today as Philip Hammer, beautiful crossover there, a little hard braking there for Igor, gives old Hammer the one he wants. You know what he did, he dropped the hammer on him. He built up the speed, he built up the power, and just like that, you make that one little move and you cut it just right. It'll end up giving you plenty of time to strike out from. Bernardo right now looking on quickly, he's just trying to hang in there. But Philip, he's not one to take lightly around here as he rolls it through the carousel. Looking to build up speed, looking to build up a little bit of power there. Run back from the pack right now. Mishka Berger in the 5 looking to get up there to Daniel Thomas in the 160. Thomas not far out of the draft zone there for Berger. And Berger right now knows if he does not get something figured out, he'll be stuck in that top 10 up bottom half, if you will. If he wants to get a little higher, he's going to have to get a little bit faster. The one thing, though, I'm kind of looking on right now is how bad is the wing right now, kind of patrolling these cars that have to roll through these corners and have to root onto the turns. Obviously, trying to turn the car is one thing, but you got to remember aerodynamic dependency and flow. With that way that big spoiler in the back does it basically causes the car to increase more aerodynamic dependency, increasing more of a speed rate. So then comes the hardest part, which is figuring out how to control the car to turn in with it. Remember, you don't want to go against something in terms of building speed. You want to try to work with it. That's what builds you up more power, more run. As we got a big move coming up. Mishka straight to the right side. He's looking for the pass, looking for the drive off at turn number 1. Back down to turn number 2. Mishka backs off. Knows he can't make a good pass here. Right, I'm back on there. McLeod says very little aero wash on these cars. About 2/10 gained on the strengths in this draft. Well, we got to think about this for a second too. This track very much more known for kind of the more American style based cars, more longer straights, harder turns, sharper turns, I should say. But this is also a very fun track for the motorcycle racing community. So the super, I believe it's motocross, or no, Pace FXX, I think is what it's called. My bad. There's Mishka Berger right now doing a little pacing of his own, taking control. Django down though, well, he's got more problems. He has more problems, and that will result in a quick look at our Pizza Race T instant replay. This is presented and enforced by our friends down there at the Motor Racing Checklist. Here's another look at it. Overshot his corner just a little bit, sends it off from the straight, saves it pretty nicely, but unfortunately no little give, no little time for mistakes like that in this kind of racing background. Let's check back up to the front right now here. It's Bernardo Feria right now, still the heaviest iRater here and the heaviest in the racing pedal, taking it to Philip Hammer right now. Impulse Racing, none too pleased by this. I believe Philip right now thinks he should have had a lot more wins already this season had it not been for a few maybe cash traffic, as you say, moments, or a lot of tougher dilemmas to deal with. Michael McLeod says the reverse grid top 8 makes the PK a valuable position. I actually was wondering about that. I didn't know how the heck they actually did the invert. I know they inverted the field, but I didn't know how many positions they inverted. Now that I know that's 8, that actually does make it pretty valuable. And speaking of valuable, opportunity sets in. Oh my, look out. Philip Hammer getting right ahead of Bernardo. Bernardo, he did not like it, none too wiser. He throws the block and then he throws a curveball by pumping him in the draft. I think we've got ourselves a battle here coming up. Igor Kost now, he says, oh, wait a minute. 2's not a party, 3's for fun. Let's see what happens. Sending in the sharp left-hander. 90-degree center turn coming up. Bernardo managed to get up. Hammer. Igor trying to back right on the inside, left side there. Couldn't quite go. Adam Schmidt sees it like a shark in the ocean. Smells the blood. He's now on the attack. The Silver Eye Dragon is coming. Oh boy, what a complete 180 here in this heat. Usually I don't get this kind of madness until we get to the A main. But it looked like Fernando made a big mistake there, shooting it right off from the final corner there down to the long straightaway, to giving Hammer time. As just mentioned earlier, the straights are giving him 2/10 of a giveaway. And I think right now what McLeod's saying too is agreeable. You just can't do that. You've got to be dead on focused and dead on the spot. Otherwise, you're going to be in for one heck of a ride. Bernardo still holding the lead. Philip Hammer trying to hang in there a little bit. Bernardo knows the Red Dragon cannot give up any more openings. If he gives old Hammer one more shot in the dark, I guarantee you could be seeing a little battle going on from Impulse Racing to the Red Dragon 87. Running it down Ferry right now, still hanging in there a little bit. Hammer, oh, Hammer getting it right on the side skirting him up, bumped off the draft to the straightaway. Igor now coming up from that line, looking for the move. He thinks they'll send it in too hard. Hammer closes it. A little bit of an opening there, a big opening now. Feria just giving it right back to him. Igor trying to shoot the gap right off. Right into the mix here, running it down. Oh, trouble! Igor lost it down there in the mix. Time lost there. Igor now going to be troublesome. He's not going to be able to get any spots from the 8. The 8 position right now in a huge dilemma. Daniel Thomas has even moved his way up. He got his chance to get a shot. Michael McLeod calling it in a little bit in the action too. Oh, speaking of trouble there, Spencer Marsh, he loses control and into the sharp left-hander. He'll throw it to the sandbox. And now time giving up. He'll give it to Felipe Straffarelli. Alexander Wilfro, problems down there. Same corner, same issue. Not been the best day for him and his team. As everything right now has completely just gone berserk here for any driver that dares to challenge for the top 8 spots. Little onboard here, Emil Kubins right now as he's moved into the 4th spot here thanks to that little opening he got from poor Igor Kos. The 8 position right now still up for grabs here. A couple minutes left on the clock. Not many laps left. Thorsten looking on, trying to see one up a little bit on Emil. This corner right here, I tell you, is the most evil of the turns here in Road America. I know everyone says that sharp left-hander there in like turn 4 or 5 is a horrible one. No, no, no. This right here is where I feel I am absolutely on my edge of my seat. It is so hard to navigate through that corner when you're driving a heavy piece of machinery like a truck, let alone anything that's a Xfinity car to a Cup car. So when you got something light and pretty durable like a Porsche Cup car, you start to get a little bit happier what you got to your name. White flag high in the air this time on by. Philip Amber right now has got the lead. The lead says Spencer Marsh was looking at a beach vacation. Well, he's either looking at a beach vacation or he decided he just wanted to take his kids to the old sandbox. I do not know if he has any children, but if he does, well, then he's just getting a taste for what he'll have when kids will come around. Running it back down right now. Final battle here in the 8th position. Felipe Straffarelli right now up behind Daniel Thomas. Fishko Berger right in front of Thomas as well. Each driver wants a piece of it. Daniel Thomas still holding his ground. Felipe right in the back looking on. Running it down, final 2 corners coming up here. Rolling them through, here we go. Once now back into the carousel turn. Sharp sweeping right-hander. Phillips still leads it. Bernardo trying to catch him. Can the Red Dragon catch him? Oh, that's a problem. That's a big mistake there by Bernardo. I swear I'm trying to say his name right there, Michael. I think you might have to actually get in touch with me about how to say that right. But I'm pretty sure it's how you say it. Phillip right now still leading it down, though. I know that's how you say his name because he heard it so many times in these kind of broadcasts. And for a good reason. He just doesn't know when to stop pulling the jump and pulling the wins to bring it home to victory lane. Running it back down right now, in through the sectors and into the corners. Here we go. One more final turn. Down the chute. Straight away engaged. Bernardo, he tried to grip it. He might have lost it. He'll hang on to the second spot. Checkers are out, though. Your winner in Heat 1. It's a sprint to victory for Phillip Hammer. A wild, wild drive there. Felipe Straffarelli will hold on to the 8th spot. Daniel Thomas is going to go 7th. Mishka Berger 6th. Dorst Seifert going 5th. 4th to Emil Koopmans. Adam Schmidt taking home 3rd. Bernardo Feria going to go 2nd. Phillip Hammer rings it to victory lane. Now the invert could mean some troublesome news for these drivers. I believe the way Mishka's over there, I think he's a little happy. I think he wants to go explore the wilderness around here in Wisconsin. I don't blame him. Alexander Wilford, not been the best showing for him and his team, and I guarantee you he probably is a little bit more miffed and upset about that than anything else. He knew he had a pretty good little car there, but unfortunately 2 mistakes will not get you anywhere in this kind of racing. McLeod, give me 1 second on that, and I will give you guys a little 3 keys to it, because there's one thing I do know about this track. I know how to actually win on this track, because this is the only track I ever won on before. Or at least on a road course wise, for the longest time. I'll explain that in just a minute, but Alexander Redhead right now, I'm not sure if he's just finishing the race or if he's just cruising. I don't know if they actually, I think they haven't dined him in yet. There he goes. There he goes. Alexander going to finish that one out, so that will bring us to our race results now. We'll pop that right up on your screen here. Let's see the results. Here we go now. Results up on the end there. You can see a big jaw there for Hammer, Feria, Schmidt, Koopmans, Seifert, Berger, Thomas, and Straffarelli are going to be involved in the inverts of the field here. We'll see how that favors for him, for their teams, as well as the overall shoot that it's going to be able to control and maintain distance with this kind of racing field. Certainly is a big draw, and they are well aware of that. So right now, warm-up about to begin here. Currently, Daniel Thomas going to be one of the first drivers out on the track here. Well, let's go over this real quick here. So, I was asked, let's hear the 3 keys points to successful race during the warm-up here. Well, here's the thing in this A main. We got to look at 3 things here. Number 1, we got to know timing. Timing and execution here is palpable. The thing about Road America I learned, and I've really been able to grasp, is these straightaways are your best friend. They are to be able to set you up for that long run, that long stride, and be able to get you further away. Now, here's the big dilemma, though. You got to control that car or whatever vehicle you're driving somewhat, right? How do you do it? Simple. You need to be executing proper braking, material, and cornering through each little sector, through each little end. Don't let the car go too far off from the turtles. I know everyone says go use as much of the track as you can. I'm telling you right now, Road America, you try that, you're going to the grass, you're going to the sand pit. Don't be playing those games with Road America. You need to be smooth, execute well by simply just staying on those turtles at maximum peak and then ciphering each turn off by tightening the car up and making sure that it gains a lot more traction and a lot more speed, but momentum is key. So this 3rd point is simple. Heavy on the accelerator. You're not wanting to go too heavy on the brakes, but you need to go heavy on the accelerator. Don't be afraid to push the limits. Don't be afraid to push this car as hard as you can when you're on the straight so you're coming off the exit of a corner. But just know don't let it go too far out. Stay smooth, and the track will deliver good racing to the very end. That are my keys to victory here. Now let's see who takes it home. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. The invert has come down to it. Straffarelli will be our number 1 seed. The 160 Daniel Thomas on the outside. Bishka Berger going to be in row number 2 with the 76 Thorsten Seifert. Row number 3 is Emil Koopmans on the 911. The outside in the 12 it is Adam Schmidt. Row number 4 is going to be Bernardo Feria in the 87. The outside in the 60 it's going to be Philip Hammer. Row number 5 in the 285 it's Igor Kos. The outside in the 496 Kenny Eckert. Row number 6 is Neil Killen in the 93. The outside in the 210 is Salvatore Garriento. Row number 7 is a 5-2 of Mark De Bruin. The outside in the number 686, it's Django Vale. Row number 8 in the 34 is Spencer Marsh. The outside in the 79 is Alexander Wilford. Row number 9 is the 00 of Byron DeBello. On the outside in the 9992, it's Danny Hoogendorm. Row number 10, the final starters, the 42 of Alexander Redhead. Jordan Strudwick is in the 100 to finish off your field. Time to hammer down. 30 minutes on the clock. Let's go racing one more time in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Straight shot out of the line. Daniel Thomas leads it. Emil Koopmans, Bishka Berger, and Bernardo Feria right now already making some headways. Almost little 3 wide saluting there right off from the Venturous turn number 2. Little straightaway there off of turn 1. That really kind of sets a lot of drivers off for success or for failure, depending on how well you can manage your gas and manage your timing there. It all depends on where you go from there. Emil Koopmans straight to the left side, looking for the rundown. He's going to have a harder braking zone than Philip Bay is going to have, but the problem is he's got company in between. Fernando, oh boy. Oh boy, the old red dragon pumping up some white smoke down there as a little bit of a go around. Oh, pile up down into the corner. Oh my, there were some major implications there. Thorsten Seifert, Adam Schmidt involved in that one. And a nasty collision sending them off the plains and off the track every which way to Sunday. What the heck happened here? Well, there's actually 2 cars that got into it down there on the turn on the far right there of your screen. Well, here's what happened. Came down. Thorsten looked like he torn it off a little too tight there on the 93. Spencer Marsh Neil Killen have nowhere to go. Then Adam Schmidt, just an innocent bystander in all this. Nothing he can do either. It's still more troubles down there. As apparently that 76 towards Seifert all over the place and can't seem to get it back up to par. Daniel Thomas is your race leader right now as he continues to lead the field in. Yeah, trust me when I say it's harder than it looks to actually be bunched up in these kind of races and then having to go back and forth with one another like that. The reason being is because, again, compare that to pack racing, which you see on the big ovals like Talladega and Daytona. This is what you're now doing on a road course. At least with the ovals, you have some room and some leeway to kind of get out or in or around it. You've got tight corners and tight straights just to deal with, let alone trying to pack and stack somebody in between. I would not want to be anybody in terms of trying to hold off someone in that kind of run. Whoa, and Igor Kos giving old Felipe a little run down for his money in turn 1. He gave him the old bump and run and shoots his way down, but Igor didn't realize he's got someone wanting to throw the big old hammer on him. Philip is right in the mix from one Felipe to one Philip. Philip Hammer has done what he can. Nick Leeds, that was a pretty optimistic dive there on that little move that they made. Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it. With this kind of racing, though, you kind of have to go in deep and just try to hope for it to work, but you don't want to go overly aggressive and end up destroying the other in your madness. You try to find ways to work its work around and then make sure that everyone else respects the code of the race. Unfortunately, some forget that code even exists and they decide to go kind of haywire with it. Emil Koopmans looking on. Oh, a little slow down there as he broke way too hard and way too late. And Bernardo just giving him way time to get around him. Emil definitely was not expecting that there as he now tries to hammer back off. Koopman's looking on right now. He knows he's in a bit of a gap shootout here. Bernardo earlier on, aggressive driving from him. The guy with an 8,700 I rating, I'm not surprised. He does not seem to mind nor care, and he's showing it. Got a great pass off a corner. Like I said earlier, that's the one corner I fear the most because it just shoots you from right to left. The next thing you know, you're going uphill, and you can just feel the weight just absolutely distributing in so many ways that just kind of send your head spinning as it sends me in a bit of a tail whip to kind of talk around. We get a little on board here with Straffarelli right now. As you can see him kind of moving the gaps off, trying to fight something he can here. Hammer right now still looking to get around Koopman's end and coast. But no go for them. Daniel Thomas has now a complete 2-second lead. Even though Bernardo got that second spot wrapped up, Daniel Thomas has been just picture perfect so far. You know, we gotta talk about that too for just a minute there. McLeod, you mentioned it earlier, top 8 interview. They will invert in the field, and then all of a sudden now they've got to try to go from that to running as the race from the 8 spot to now running as the race leader. I mean, I got a feeling that's really kind of a whole 180, if you will, and just kind of sending everyone for a little bit of a clip up or two. Not sure where to go or what to do in that kind of situation. But, you know, for guys like Daniel Thomas, they made a good little move off there out of the start, and then making good moves on the people that made the mistakes. That's what you have to do as a driver. Capitalize on every mistake the other driver does and focus in carefully on your run and on your lead laps. Daniel Thomas right now with a 5.551 I rating, so not quite a full 6,000, but pretty close. But again, with 25 minutes still to have to hold off an 8,700 boy like Bernardo, I would not want to be you right now, good Thomas. The gap has changed up. It was a full 2.5 seconds. Right now it's a mere 2 seconds. Thomas knows Bernardo is coming for him. You're watching on live right now here, ladies and gentlemen. I have been the broadcaster, the Crusader, Christian Schreiber, back from vacation, back from all my wacky stuff and stuff going on back outside of the countryside. It's been a pleasure to be able to call with you guys and be able to see you all again. I promise you we come up with a good show today, and we have indeed brought it to you. But it's really been this Porsche Cup Challenge Series that has shown us what pure speed and pure endurance can be brought over to the American side of things. Impressive racing at its peak and at its point, with every driver right now still trying to make the best of their duel and trying to make the best of their equipment. Django earlier on having a lot of problems. He's now in the top 10 bracket. Salvatore Garianto earlier on, same little deal, but he managed to get himself into that top end situation now. Wilford moving up a little. De Bruin just kind of been right where he's been at this race. Byron DeBello, Alexander Redhead, Thorsten Seifert, Adam Schmidt, Spencer Marsh, Neil Killen. Guys, I would not have said been anywhere near that bottom half of the pack, but yet they are, unfortunately, and that's really, in my opinion, kind of a heavy downer for them because they were not expecting that to even be the case. You know, one thing I got to think about too for a second is 2 cars better than 1 in this case to catch a draft or to kind of push someone off a little bit faster? I know that there's 2 tenths gained on those straights at times, but think about this for a second. Is Igor Kos right now, where the way he's working with Bernardo, is he trying to keep the car lined up as best he can to try to build more speed and build more runoff to get him to that draft? That's a hard thing to figure out, but I think, honestly, that's one of the biggest deals I'm kind of seeing right now. Thomas is all alone, so he's basically just trying to keep Bernardo and Igor as far away from him as possible, while everybody else is doing whatever they possibly can. The 8th to 15th position, McLeod says, all connected by draft. Well, I can certainly see that being the case in this little deal, because you can see how hard they're having to drive off to keep speed up. And again, this is about what you usually would think they would be driving, but instead of running it down into the track and running it down as hard as they can, it's been more or less just kind of hope and pray and hold on. Running them down right now. Django, Salvatore, and Kenny Eckert leading the way right now from that 8th spot. But the drafters now seem to be getting a little bit tiresome. Django moving on the right side. Move off from the distance here. Michael says that Coast will not pass Feria. He will wait. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad option by any means. But I just kind of wonder, how long will he wait? Can he wait till the time is right, or will he just wait till Daniel Thomas makes a mistake and then he can make a move on both of them, because it did not work out last time for him. We saw what that did to him. He had to start at 9th, but he managed to make his way right into 3rd pretty quickly. Hey, I'll give him credit where credit's due any day of the week and twice on Sunday. You'd be able to figure out how to do that. I'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt. So McLeod's saying, yeah, he will follow through on him. I wonder if he's got a driver's mic down there. He just listens to these guys and it's like, hey, what are your plans? What's your option? He's like, whatever the broadcaster said, that's what I'm doing. 20 minutes left on the clock. Time running out. Philip Hammer, the number 60, and Emil Kubins right now in the 911 here, currently holding a draft off from 4th and 5th. But remember, Hammer took that heat win, and now he's looking to try to get back from him here. Felipe going off track for a little bit. Problems down there for Kenny Ecker as well. Went off track for just a second. Both guys seemingly okay, though, and seemingly be able to really kind of bounce back after that mistake they made. Mark DeBoon, the number 52, coming right into your screen. One position up here. Started back in the 12th spot now, he started back in the 13th spot, moving up to the 11th from what I'm gathering. Pulverizing around the runs here and trying to hang on. Danny Hugendorn. I haven't been able to talk much about him today, but he has gone 6 spots up and he's got a +4 for his CG right now, so I'd say he's looking pretty good and he'll be able to kind of take with it. Michael says I'm 3,500 I rating myself, and I'm about 5,000 pace, so I know how they would think. Well, I mean, I could say I can know how many other drivers think, but the problem is that I can only think so much about what they're thinking until they just kind of pull the action off. That's one thing about racing, is that you think you know someone, but the thing is, it's just an unpredictable sport. There's times even myself will say, I just gotta kind of throw a rabbit out of the hat and just throw the Hail Mary attempt and go for it, no matter what the situation is or what the dilemma may be. We can say we know a driver all we want. We can say we know ourselves all we want. At the end of the day, you're put in that high pressure situation. You get one opening and one chance. It's kind of like the Eminem song from It's like, would you catch it, or are you just gonna let it sit? I mean, if I'm them, I'm thinking I'm gonna capture it. Archer brakes be dang. Right now, the way it's looking right now for this 160 of Daniel Thomas, his gap went from about 2 seconds to only a half a second in just a couple short laps. This is not looking good right now for Thomas, and he knows it. Bernardo looks like he's a madman on a mission. He wants to get that 160. McLeod says Koopman's pushing Hammer. They're losing draft. Yeah, I mean, right now, I was told this earlier too, is that with some of these cars, if you try to push in the draft, they just don't get as much speed or any more power. You almost have to just get them as close as possible without touching, which is kind of ironic to me, because I was always kind of under the impression you have to push as hard as you can to build more speed. But with these higher wings, it seems, these higher wing cars, it seems like they actually become more of a nuisance, more trouble. If you want more explanation on that, I can tell you I was driving the Honda Civic Type R's there when we were in Pushing Limits Racing League, and I had one time I was pushing that 5 down there, and she was telling me later on, like, that push and that draft wasn't giving me any speed. I'm like, how is that possible? You would think it would work, but it turns out that big wing spoiler, man, it does you something different. And I think that's exactly what that Porsche Cup car is right now feeling. As Bernardo finally lines up. Here we go, straight to the left. Pass for the lead. Going down, Thomas. Defense. And he'll hang on. Oh, but not by much. Bernardo now back at him. I don't think the 87 liked that too much. Thomas knows he's got to keep the car straight, keep it lined up in the turns, execute the corners. Don't let him catch him. If you let him catch him off guard, he's going to make that move off, and he knows it too. Thomas hanging on. But for how much longer can he hang on? That's right now the gap between those two drivers. And Igor Kos just kind of laying out there. Daniel a little bit wider, shoots it off a little bit deeper. Earlier on, you saw the 87. He was driving it way, way too hard in some areas and then just completely losing out touch on the other side of things. I believe that to be a little bit of impatience more than anything else. Bernardo, he's trying to set him up here. He's trying to set a crossover. Couldn't quite get him all tamed up. He's going to look for turn one to be his best friend right now, that's for sure. You're wondering at home, why am I saying turn one? Well, because what's coming up now is the elongated uphill swing of things. Build the speed, build the drive. This is where the draft comes into play. Here they come now down to the straightaway here. Right into the spot our flagman watches on. Another big move here. Thomas sees it. He blocked it. Kept him behind. Bernardo now looks like, if I had to guess, he's going to be a little bit more patient. He's going to wait. He doesn't think there's an opportunity to strike. Trouble down there, looks like, for Byron DeBello here. DeBello stopped right on the front straightaway here. And the car's trying to avoid him. He tries to get it refired. And will not be able to refire here, so it looks like he's going to have some issues, unfortunately, on his end. Let's take a look at the replay real quick. What happened to the double O? Looks like he had a little bit of help. Oh! That's Mark DeBruin there, the 52. Just caught him well off the pace and just absolutely out of control there. DeBello not too pleased or none the wiser to what happened, and he knows it too. What a tough break there for him. Back to the race lead right now. Bernardo, Tom, and Daniel right now going at it. Philip Hammer right now looking on. Probably just kind of eyeing an opening there on Igor as well as Praria and Thomas. It's incredible how much you bridge that gap up and you kind of change it around a little bit, how much more things can kind of change on a dime. You feel like you're locked and loaded, then you're ready to go. Next thing you know, everything goes completely haywire for you. Thomas still able to keep it out of the sandbox, but again, that's only part of the turn. Now comes the heavy braking and heavy gas pedaling zones. A little less on the brake, more on the speedometer. Roll it through, nicely done. Now down the straightaway here, will Bernardo try to make a move and execute here? Mark DeBruin, more troubles down there again. He's going to call it a day. He's already put her into pit road. The Brazilian driver right now trying to make anything work, anything he got. Germany right now being represented well by Igor and Philip. Man, talk about absolutely just crazy, frenetic, impatient racing from everyone that has come forward today here. And look up right now to the right side yet again. This time, finally, it will move off Daniel Thomas. Couldn't quite hold up Bernardo. Bernardo finally found an opening. He shot for the left side, makes the pass. Daniel Thomas trying to get back to him, but he may not have enough time. He certainly is not taking full control of the drive here. The speed boost, incredibly significant. Oh, trouble for Bernardo. He goes straight to the infield. He opens up a lawn care service, and he's going to have an opening again. Philip Hammer has been taken out by Igor. Thanks to a little help there from the number 160. Daniel Thomas has clipped it from Igor to send it back that way. Oh, my. What on earth even happened in that sector there? Hold on a minute. Let's go back and look at the replay here. Let's just start it from point A and then we'll go to point B. Let's take a look at this here. This is a beautifully executed move here by Bernardo. I said earlier, use rule 3. Use the speed. Use the straights. Get yourself the power. Keep the momentum up. This is exactly what he had to do. A beautiful move straight to the left side. Now has to sharp left-hander. Makes a good opportunity there. Igor, slight contact there to the 160. Daniel Thomas know where he can go. And then here comes where trouble began. All of a sudden, things get a little hairy right here. Shot it into the grass. And right there, I thought Bernardo, he was gone. Look at Philip, actually, he got a little bit in there too. I didn't even realize that till it's too late. A dive in, and then all of a sudden, Philip Ammer just completely edged out, nowhere he can go, and nothing he can do about it. As Daniel Thomas couldn't quite get the car under control thanks to Igor just giving him one little tap. I don't think Germany is going to be too fond of having both their drivers out at the same time, but at least they know one of them is still in this fight. Daniel Thomas is out of the race, though. Holy smokes. A lot going on, a lot happening, and now we got 10 minutes left on the clock. Your chances are running higher and higher. Bernardo knows he cannot get in the grass anymore. He can't let the car get loose. Stay on the asphalt and keep the speed alive. For Mishka Berger right now, what a race this would be for him in the number 5 machine. And he knows the pinky in the brain has got a brain. He's got a lot of speed with that momentum in it. You would have thought maybe he put a brain, he's maybe got a brain down in that foot of his. But it turns out no. He's actually just shooting everything he's got into all that car and using it quite well. Other drivers right now kind of spread out in between from each other. Not a whole lot they can do, really. Alexander Redhead and Thorsten Cypher here still going in deep, looking to keep in control. Danny Hoogendorm right up ahead. Breezing right on by still. It's been anybody's guess really in this race who can survive and who can conquer. Daniel Thomas looked like he had this one kind of figured out and narrowed up. Next thing you know, everything going completely out of his control. I don't know how I feel about the dive bomb Igor did, but at the same time, I don't blame him for kind of driving in as deep as he did. It really was just kind of a matter of making the move and make the mark. As now, I think that was Daniel Thomas. He just passed there. Oh, that was. That might be a little bit of controversy stewing in that boy's mind right now. McLeod says it was an optimistic dive. All right. I honestly do not know road course racing all that well, or what the European style calls it. So, optimistic dive, I'm going to guess, just from what I know most in racing, is basically not necessarily a dive bomb, but mostly hoping for the best or hoping for the most opportunity you can get out of it. I presume that's what it is. McLeod says Senna lives on. Indeed, indeed. Well, despite all the troubles there, Philip actually able to kind of keep pace there. Got it back ahead of Felipe Straffarelli. Emil Koopman's right now holding on to the 4th spot still. And Django Vale right now. He's not doing too bad in this one. The 686, 7 spots up from his original position. Can't count him out. Can't count any of his out of his spots right now, or maybe any chances he can get here. Ferriecco still right now coasting their way around. And remember what earlier on McLeod said about Igor. Igor will just wait. He'll be patient. Let Bernardo just kind of wait it out with him. This is like a game. This is what I always love about racing. Is this kind of this game of cat and mouse. This chess-like reflexes as well. Having to use your mind, your body, your spirit, everything you can just to hang on. It's such an incredible feeling. At the same time, such a horrible feeling if it's not you that's right now being the better player, leading it out, or feeling like you have any hands in it. That's when it feels like you're then pretty much in a boxing match with Mike Tyson. And the only thing you've been doing is just basically been training for a guy like Glass Joe around here. Bernardo and Igor right now trying to hang in there. Bernardo just trying to defend him off if he best he can. Igor will wait, but he can't wait much longer. He's got about 5 minutes left on the clock before this time will run out. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact right now. Mishka Berger and Emil Kubins right now, they are separated out by a good distance. I don't know if Kubins has enough of that draft line to build up speed and build up the pace. Time running out. Danny Hugendorn right now, Thorsten Seifert. Door battle for the 11 position. As Seifert looks on. Hugendorn right now just trying to keep his pace and just trying to keep him away from making any bonsai moves here. The Apex Misters right now still right in the mix and right on the nose. Salvatore Garriento with problems down there, and a lot of them. It looks like that troublesome shoot turn right there ended up giving him problems in that area. Precis and Thorsten Seifert shooting his way around Hugendorm down the same corner that Bernardo got Daniel Thomas earlier. The sharp left-hander of turn 4 or 5. Seifert now going to move his way around as time slowly and surely clicks away. You wonder in the back of your head, do you have enough, or you wonder if you're up front, can I stay ahead just long enough or defend off those that try to fight me? Alexander Redhead, the number 42 right now, man, talk about having a day and a half here at Road America. And throughout the season, had some pretty good races, some pretty good upcoming fights and battles, but has not been the same for this one today. Feria, Kos. This is a heated battle. Brazil versus Germany. Man, oh man, how much more can he take? How much more can he wait? He wasn't waiting there. He wanted it. And he's going to get it! Bernardo running it through! Running it back down. Igor now has the order. He has the corner. He has the opening. Straight shoots it. Bernardo trying to close him back off. Try to find an opening. Looking for the slingshot. Couldn't get it. Igor Kos literally taking it to Bernardo. Bernardo cannot believe what he's seeing. The draft has failed him, and now he's starting to get a little bit more troublesome turns. Oh, he's deadlocked now, and Igor, he knows if he wants to get around him, he's got to keep it with him. I think right now, honestly, we talked about earlier on that draft was not working if you push draft. Well, I think actually this would be perfect for Bernardo. If you bump draft him, you can slow him down. Get him to slow up a bit. Get him an opening. Look for the shoot, and then take the run there when you can. But he's running out of time, and he knows he's running out of speed here. Igor, earlier on in the sprint race, got himself into troubles. Waited too long, and ended up making a big mistake there. They ended up sending him to the shadow round. The same cannot be said here as he started ninth. He's worked his way to the lead. Bernardo starting 6th, worked his way to second, worked his way to first, with 6 spots at most up. Only 5 spots right now from the hard charger side. White flag high in the air. We've got one more lap to go. Here we go, left side, big move. Bernardo looking for it, trying to drive it in. Igor backs off. He's going to try to cross him up. No, he didn't get him there. Bernardo beautifully executed. Igor trying to find another round. Is he just waiting to get him back in that troublesome turn number 4? Oh, I think he might be. I think he might be. Looking to get the draft down the chute to the straightaway. Here we go now. Big, big corner coming up. And Bernardo knows what he's up to. Shot it on the left. Now to the right. Igor deep inside on the right side. He tried to build it. He misses the apex of the turn. Bernardo has secured it. If he can just keep the speed up, he'll get further ahead from Igor in this case. A well-timed now move. Using the front straightaway to his advantage. The same way earlier on it cost him. This time it works perfectly to his advantage. Just a few more sectors to go. Time running out. Igor trying to keep with him. Bernardo made a beautiful move off there, trying to fill up the speed, trying to burrow up the gap. Can he just hang on? What an impressive and conclusive decision here from the 87 camp to move on the 285 camp. Igor thought he had timed it right, played his cards well, and made the proper moves. But it appears that is simply just not the case. Run it back down now, straight to the turns and into the sectors. Bernardo has done truly what I would say has been an impressive and combative race throughout this one. Road America yet again doesn't disappoint, and it looks like in his Turtlevision show, Bernardo Feria will not disappoint either. Igor Kos has cost himself this one. It's gonna go to the A7. Bernardo will take victory lane. Mishka Berger gonna bring it to second. Emil Koopman's going third. Fammer fourth. Fifth. Straffarelli. What a race. The Brazilian driver, yes indeed, outsmarted the German. What a race. I don't even think Bernardo can realize what he just did. What a performance, what a race throughout. Yeah, I absolutely love this track, man, and for good reason. That was some impressive racing. And a lot of good on performance and battle outs from each set and each driver. What a long, long road it was for this team and for this crew to be able to come out on top. But you know what they say, some things are well worth the wait. So the final set of our drivers coming to the line here. It's time to finally take a look at our race results. What a race it was, but for Bernardo Feria, it was simply a matter of pacing and strategy to win it all. Mishka Berger going second, Emil Koopmans third, Philip Ammer fourth, Felipe Straffarelli fifth, sixth to Django Vale, seventh to Alexander Wilford, eighth to Salvador Garriento, ninth to Kenny Eckert, and 10th to Thorsten Seifert. Rounds out the field today. Whoo, boy, what a race, what a day. And that will all but conclude it. Race fans, it's great to be back home. I sure missed you all, and it's been quite a time, but off from vacation, we got more of this to do. For now, though, I leave you off with this. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you all for the support. Until next time, support the channel, support us all. We love you guys. We appreciate it.